show of force. That's what we're seeing right now in Los Angeles, and it's just not shocking, it's strategic. A top Marine Corps commander just made a major announcement that takes Trump's authoritarian leadership and agenda to a whole new level. Please stand by because I have all the disturbing details coming up next. Across the country, alarm bells are ringing. Experts, elected officials, and even former Marines are all sounding the warning this is not normal. And this first segment literally hits home because it represents the voices of military families. It's a Guardian article entitled, "Troops and Marines Deeply Troubled by LA Deployment. Morale is Not Great."
California National Guard's troops and Marines deployed to Los Angeles to help restore order after days of protest against the Trump administration have told friends and family members they are deeply unhappy about the assignment and worry their only meaningful role will be as pawns in a political battle they do not want to join. 3 different advocacy organizations representing military families said they had heard from dozens of affected service members who expressed discomfort about being drawn into a domestic policing operation outside their normal field of operations. The group said they have heard no countervailing opinions. The sentiment across the board right now is that deploying military force against our own communities isn't the kind of national security we signed up for, said Sarah Strider of the Secure Families Initiative, which represents the interests of military spouses, children, and veterans. Families are scared not just for their loved ones' safety, although that's a big concern, but also for what their service is being used to justify. Chris Purdy of the Chamberlain Network, whose stated mission is to mobilize and empower veterans to protect democracy, said he had heard similar things from half a dozen National Guard members. "Morale is not great," is the quote I keep hearing, he said. Active service members are prohibited by law from speaking publicly about their work. But Strider, of the Secure Families Initiative, said she had heard dozens of complaints indirectly through their families. She had also seen a written comment passed along to her organization from a National Guard member who described the assignment as shitty, particularly compared with early secondments to help with wildfire relief or during the COVID pandemic, vaccination outreach. Both of those experiences were uncomplicatedly positive, a contribution back to the community. Strider described the message as saying, "This is quite the opposite."
Marine Corps families are sending Trump a message that is loud and clear. Facing off against fellow Americans is not what we signed up for. So what's the latest Trump move that is putting them in that exact position? Have a listen to this report from the Associated Press, and on the other side, I'll share a message from a retired Marine Corps Lieutenant General specifically for Trump. About 200 Marines have moved into Los Angeles and will protect federal property and personnel, a military commander said Friday. Major General Scott Sherman, commander of Task Force 51, who is overseeing the 4,700 troops deployed, said Friday that the Marines have finished training on civil disturbance. Sherman said the Marines would take over operations at noon local time at the federal building in downtown Los Angeles. The development comes the day after the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals temporarily blocked a federal judge's order that had directed President Donald Trump to return control of the National Guard troops to California, shortly after a federal judge had ruled the Guard deployment was illegal and both violated the 10th Amendment and exceeded Trump's statutory authority. And Sherman concluded with, "We have had no soldier or Marine detain anyone, and I would like to emphasize that the soldiers will not participate in law enforcement activities." Those sounded like the words of someone who is reluctant to be there and is just following orders. The families who spoke out are being bold, and this commander is being more muted, but I think they're both saying, what are we doing here? They did not enlist to become pawns in a political theater, and they didn't swear an oath to intimidate fellow Americans on behalf of a wannabe dictator looking for strongman optics. Marines are committed to defending the United States and its values of freedom, justice, and democracy, not Trump's ego. And this moment is a red flag for the entire country. But don't take it from me, a liberal commentator who is prone to say such things. I'll give the final word to retired United States Marine Corps Lieutenant Colonel Joe Plensler, who once served in the same battalion that is now serving Trump's ego in Los Angeles.
I don't quite know how to put this today. Turned on the news to find that my old battalion's being deployed to Los Angeles. 2nd Battalion, 7th Marines. I was there from 1996 to 1999. Memories of growing up out there as a young man out in 29 Palms, leading Marines, training for war, which all served us well when we went to Iraq in 2003. And I'm shocked and dismayed to see My old battalion, 2-7, being deployed potentially against the American people in Los Angeles. People are using their First Amendment rights to speak out about things that they don't think is right. And I just hope and pray that these young Marines have the courage to stand up and do the right thing. I think the greatest threat that y'all face, little brothers, right now is that you're going to be given unlawful order to attack American civilians. I could see a potential for such order to be given by senior leaders who don't share our ethos, who don't share our code, to fight for right and freedom, and to what? Keep our honor clean.